Follow along, Catholic Pilgrims, as we follow French Doctor of the Church, St. Francis de Sales, through his book, Introduction to the Devout Life. Tune in as we read through this practical guide for living out the Catholic faith well. Hello, Catholic Pilgrims. We are back to learn more and reflect more on how we can better live a devout life. The point of this book is not for us to just listen and then think, that's nice, I sure do agree. The point of this book is for us to put into practice what we are reading about here. Obviously, we can't put all of these things into practice all at once and 100% perfectly, but we do need to be actively thinking about what St. Francis is teaching us. If something he says makes us uncomfortable, well, that's probably an area we need to work on. Today, St. Francis gives us a short reading where he just gives a few more pointers to think about when it comes to having conversations with people. So let's open our books to chapter 30 of the third part. Chapter 30, Further Counsels Concerning Conversation. Let your speech be gentle, frank, sincere, clear, simple, and truthful. Avoid all duplicity, artifice, and affectation. For although it is not expedient to tell everything which is true, it is at no time allowable to tell what is not. Never permit yourself to tell a lie in the way of excuse or otherwise, remembering that God is a God of truth. If you accidentally say what is untrue, and it is possible at once to correct yourself by explanation or reparation, do so. A sincere excuse is of far more avail and more powerful than a lie. Although there may be occasions in which we may prudently and discreetly cover and keep back the truth, we should not do so except in matters of importance, where it is necessary for the glory and service of God. In truth, all artifice is dangerous, for the Holy Spirit will not dwell with the double-minded. No art is so valuable as simplicity. Worldly prudence and carnal wisdom appertain to the children of this world, but the children of God go on in a straightforward course, and their hearts are steady and confident. Lying, duplicity, and dissimulation are the sure signs of a low, groveling mind. In the fourth book of his Confessions, St. Augustine had said that his soul and that of his friend made but one soul. After his friend's death, his life was abhorrent to him, since he had but half a life. And yet for the same reason he feared to die, and to cause his friend to die wholly. Later in life he thought these expressions too affected and artificial, and struck them out. Remark well how susceptible this great man was to affectation in words. Unquestionably faithful, straightforward, sincere speech is a great ornament to the life of a Christian. David says, I said, I will take heed to my ways, that I sin not with my tongue. And, set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth, and a door round about my lips. The royal St. Louis gave it as a counsel never to contradict anyone, unless there was some harm or sin in consenting, and thus to avoid altercation and dispute. But when it is necessary to contradict someone, or give an opposite opinion, it should be done gently and skillfully, so as not to irritate our neighbors, and besides, we gain nothing by lack of mildness. The short speech so much commended by the ancients does not so much mean that we should use few words, as that we should not use many that are unprofitable, for in conversation, quality matters more than quantity. I would have you avoid extremes, for there seems to be a lack of confidence or some degree of contempt in being always constrained and strictly refusing to join in familiar conversation, whilst a perpetual chatter and gossip, which gives no one else time or opportunity to speak, is trifling and vexatious. St. Louis condemned private discussion or conversation in general society, especially at meal times. If anyone has something good to say, he remarked, let him give all present the benefit of it, but let him be silent on private and important subjects. At the beginning of the reading, St. Francis says, quote, let your speech be gentle, frank, sincere, clear, simple, and truthful, unquote. I'm good at being frank. I'm good at being sincere. I'm good at being clear. I'm usually pretty simple in speech, and I try very hard to be truthful. Where I need work is on being gentle. So, in that regard, it's something that I need to focus on. I think in many ways, I see gentleness as possibly being misconstrued by others as weakness, and I can't stand the thought of being a pushover or weak. So, that's a pride thing there. I think in the modern age, we are encouraged, though, to be harsh, ambiguous, insincere, unclear, complicated, and dishonest with our speech. And I'll give examples. Harsh. If you disagree with someone online, the goal is to be as harsh as possible to have your mic drop moment. Makes us feel good. Other people that agree with us can pat us on the back, and we feel like we've won. Ambiguous. We hear these things all the time. There is no reality. Gender is fluid. Are they a boy? Are they a girl? Who knows? Your truth, my truth. We've all heard these things, and they create ambiguity so as to make things murky and to give the illusion that we can never land on truth. Insincere. We tell people all the time that you can be whatever you want to be. That isn't really true, and it's insincere. I could never be an NBA basketball player, and for somebody to tell me that would be wildly insincere. Other things are when people say, yeah, I love having boys participate in girls' sports, or I don't see a problem with it. That's insincere. Everybody does. You've also heard this one. Obesity is healthy. It's just not. And by being insincere about that, you are encouraging people in possibly having many ailments that could significantly impact their lives. Here's another thing that we are encouraged to think or say. Even though in my mind I can see that you are clearly a girl, I am encouraged to be insincere and tell you that I think you're a boy if that's what you want to be. Or when people say, I don't know what a woman is, it's really hard to define. They're being insincere. Everybody knows what a woman is. Then there's being unclear. Racism clearly means to discriminate based on one's race. But at the same time, we are told that white people can't be discriminated against. Why? Because they're white, that's why. But isn't being white a race? But that doesn't matter. Many women tell men that they can't have an opinion on abortion because they lack a uterus. Yet, trans women are allowed to have an opinion on the matter, but they lack a uterus. This makes no sense and is unclear. Complicated. We are told that there is no objective truth out there. Only you can have your truth and I can have my truth, and we're all just supposed to live with that chaos. That complicates life when you can't land on objective truth, and it makes people very confused. And then dishonesty. And do I really need to give examples? We have zero trust in our media anymore because lying is a habit for them. They simply cannot seem to be objective. We don't trust our politicians because they lie repeatedly. We don't trust each other because of all the things I touched on before. And when we don't have trust in each other, civilization begins to unravel. That is why we must be, quote, gentle, frank, sincere, clear, simple, and truthful, unquote, all day, every day. I know what I need to work on in those areas, and I encourage you to reflect on the areas that you need to work on because none of us is perfect at these very positive communication skills. So that is all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. Next up, we are going to talk about amusements. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.